Tennessee. The 5 of Crabtree, big wiggle there off the corner. He'll get back in the throttle, coming back to the line with a 14.830 for Crabtree as he comes by. Cameron Marler with a 14.264. Ruben Mayfield there with a 14.750. And they'll click him off here. Crabtree back to the line. He'll go to the top of the board with a 14.118. Will he stay there? Marler now to the top spot with a 14.102. Ruben Mayfield back to the line. He'll put it third, with that first lap being a 14.750. As we are underway with qualifying, presented by FK Rod Ends here for the Schaefer's Oil Spring National Tour. Cameron Marler, fastest so far out of Group A. The driver to Winfield, Tennessee, the Marler Auto Mart number 57 machine, as he'll head out. As these drivers continue to roll on and off the speedway quickly here in qualifying. Coming up, open wheel modifieds will be after the Super Lake models, and then it's time for the Mike Bruner Jr. Schaefer's Oil Red Clay Series, or Schaefer's Oil by Mike Bruner Jr., the official title sponsor of the series. I also want to congratulate him, the new sponsor, presenting sponsor there, along with the Topless Outlaws as well. Rolling out onto the speedway, it's going to be the coach, David Payne, in the 8 machine out of Murphy, North Carolina. He'll work down the back straightaway. Behind him, the Winfield, Tennessee native, one of the favorites. It's going to be the 157 of Mike Marler. Behind him, the defending Spring National Champion, Garrett Smith, off into turn number 3 and 4. Atlanta Paving and Concrete, Cadillac Ranch Entry. He'll work by. Right now, it's still Cameron Marler, Garrett Smith, fastest out of this group, but not for long. David Payne with a 13.840. Looking to bring the pain here in FK Rod Ends qualifying. He'll go to the top of the board. Cameron Marler, Garrett Smith. Garrett Smith now, new quick time with a 13.814 for Garrett Smith. The Madison, Georgia driver, fresh off that win at the grand reopen of Thunder Hill Raceway last Saturday night for $15,000. As he looks to defend and go back-to-back with the Schaefer's Oil Spring Nationals. Of course, him and Tucker Anderson in a tight battle for the point standings coming in tonight in this 3-day event. This 3-day event weekend. Going to Whiff Raceway, then Tazewell on Saturday, rolling down the hill. Out of Evans, Georgia, the number 76 machine. Budweiser on the hood of that entry. Also, going to work it down into turn number 1. It is Brandon Overton. Behind him, going to be the T6 machine of Todd Hernandez and the 44 machine of John Oldby out of Cleveland, Tennessee, the Cleveland native. Brandon Overton, new quick time on lap number 1 with a 13.688. No surprise. Overton always quick when he's here with us with the Southern Nationals or Southern All-Star Series. Overton with a 13.570 on lap number 2 picks up the throttle, and he'll put the best time on that second lap. Garrett Smith, David Payne, Cameron Marler, David Crabtree all in this one. Going to take the top 5 out of Group A, the top 5 out of B. Then we'll, of course, set our heat races. We'll take 5 more out of our 2 heat races. That will set up 20 drivers. We'll have 21st and 22nd as provisionals. That will be your format here tonight for the Schaefer's Oil Spring National Tour. Brandon Overton atop the board, the driver out of Evans, Georgia. Overton, of course, the clean sweep there at the Winter Freeze for the Southern All-Stars. Great run also there along with his brother Cody Overton down at Modoc a couple of weeks ago. Tucker Anderson, speaking of good runs, he got the win at Penton Raceway with the Southern All-Stars. Has been very good on both tours as he works down into turn number 3 and 4, the Interstate Welding 22 machine as he works by. Looking to see where he is going to fall on the speed charts. Also, Jason Welsh in the 1 machine out on the speedway. He'll work past the flag stand in the 09 machine. Also on the clock of Michael Leach. Leach now coming back. Checkered flag, dust pause. Working down the Longhorn in turn number 1 for Michael Leach. He'll go third quick with a 13.834. But not for long. Tucker Anderson with a 13.814. So he'll now go to third. Michael Leach now back to fourth. David Payne in fifth. But your top 2 still no change. Brandon Overton and Garrett Smith. Your top 2 competitors Overton in that 76. Of course, through Georgia and Florida Speed Weeks. Got the second most money out of the Speed Weeks. Of course, running a lot of events down there. He's kind of got to mix it up. He's been mixing up most of the year. For Overton, we've seen him some of Southern All-Stars. We've seen him, of course, with Southern Nationals. Also seen him on both national tours as well. Out on the Speedway, Heath Heidman there in the 91 machine. That volunteer scheme with the volunteer orange, the black, Andy Deal Trucking, TPPM entry there for Heath Heidman there in the 91. Out of Signal Mountain, Tennessee, off the corner, white flag behind him. Working down into turn number 3 and 4 off the exit. That's going to be the 49 of Luke Morey. Morey now in that Coltman Farms Racing entry. He'll work down the back straightaway. We'll see what he's got here on lap number 2. Only 7th quick there on the first lap for Luke Morey. As he comes back to the checkered flag, he's going to let out of it. So that will be his best time, that 7th quick time. Heath Heidman there in the 91. He'll put it 12th quick with a 14.399. So your top 5 going to transfer on. Brandon Overton and Garrett Smith, they're both going to transfer out of that first group. We'll look for that Group B drivers to get staged, ready to go. Some top 5 in each one of these sessions will be locked in. That's going to be the format. We'll go 5 and 5 out of qualifying to equal 10, then 5 and 5 more out of the heat races to equal 20, then 21st, 22nd. That will be provisional land. That's your format here for the Schaefer's Oil Spring Nationals. And here comes that Group B qualifying effort down the hill and onto the racing speedway. Onto the racetrack there, it's going to be the 66 machine of Jordan Rodeball out of Snod Daisy, Tennessee. Behind him, the driver out of Rondersville, Tennessee, in the 126 machine, Cade Loudy. Another Tennessee native there in Dakota Smith in the 3D out of Powell, Tennessee. .044 for Jordan Rodeball, Cade Loudy with a 14.161. Second lap for Rodeball with a 13.863. Dakota Smith with a 14.848. Rodeball still with that quick time over Cade Loudy. Loudy picking it up on that second lap with a 13.990, but not enough to, of course, take Jordan Rodeball off the top spot with the first 3 cars here in Group B in the book. Still a lot of great drivers here in this Group B, including Hudson O'Neal, Dale McDowell, Cameron Weaver also in this group. Next set of drivers rolling out onto the speedway, the number 27 machine, J&J Construction entry. And that's Snellville, Tennessee. It's going to be Jordan Horton in the 27. He's now on the clock. He'll continue to work around the I-75 Raceway. Cade Newby there in the 118. So that car's got a small 8 there on the side, and he is all the way up in a no man's land. He'll pick the pace back up as you see the dust fly. And behind him, it's going to be the 12 of Jack Franklin. Another Tennessee native off of turn number 3 and 4. Checkered flag in the air. Still Jordan Rodeball, Cade Loudy, Horton, fastest out of this group. He is third quick with a 14.445. Then Jack Franklin. Kane Newby in the 118 will be 5th quick, and Dakota Smith going to be 6th quick in the 3D. race fans rolling down the hill. Remember, overall fast time going to receive the Hudson's 100 here tonight. And could it be Hudson O'Neal? And the K&L Rumley Longhorn, number 6 machine, working down into turn number 1 and 2. Behind him in the Reese Monument, number 17, M. Klontz. Racing Oils on the side of that entry, the Mac Daddy Dale McDowell of Chickamauga, Georgia. Behind them, it should be Carl Tipton in the 22T. First lap for Hudson O'Neal, new quick time with a 13.625 for O'Neal. McDowell with a 13.628. They'll rocket both to the top of the board. Let's see what they've got here on the second lap. Here comes the Mac Daddy Dale McDowell. McDowell back to the line. He'll stay second quick. He does have a slight pickup with a 13.588. But Hudson O'Neal with a 13.528 there for O'Neal. Jordan Rodeball still third quick. Cade Lowney and Jordan Horton right now in that 5th position. He's the driver, of course, trying to lock himself in. We'll lock in 5 out of Group B as well. Carl Tipton going to be 6th quick, 1 spot on the outside looking in. He'll be headed towards heat race action along with Jack Franklin, Kane Newby, and Dakota Smith as it stands right now. Rolling out onto the speedway. Here comes the 16 machine. The Coltman Farms are racing entry for the Alabama native Sam Seawright. He is now on the clock. Rolling also out on the speedway, going to be the 15 machine of Will Hicks out of Cleveland, Tennessee, and the 116 machine of Cameron Weaver. Weaver down into turn number 3 and 4. Working the top side of the speedway is Weaver. White flag in the air for him as he comes by. Cameron Weaver going to have to pick it up by 14.867. Will Hicks with a 15.765. Those drivers towards the tail end of the speed charts. Sam Seawright, 5th quick with a 14.307 for Seawright there in the 16 machine. So he will lock himself in right now on the bubble spot in 5th for Sam Seawright at Coltman Farms Racing entry. Of course, I want to thank our great marketing partners at Coltman Farms, also Sunoco Racing Fuels, FK Rod Ends, American Racer South, Dirt on Dirt, some of our marketing partners. Rolling down the hill, here comes the 19 of Matthew Porter there in the Longhorn. Porter, a very successful campaign last season with the Save-A-Lot American All-Star Series. Joe Rush and his guys picking up Save-A-Lot going into this year as their title sponsor. One more car rolling down the hill here, a little bit late to the party. Matthew Porter there with a 15.179 on his first lap. That is Steve Smith there in the 3 machine getting out on the speedway, so we'll give him his qualifying laps here. Of course, we are presented by FK Rod Ends. Here comes Porter back to the line in the Longhorn. Porter with a 15.179, going to be his best lap. And Steve Smith with a 15.522 as he works by Open Wheel Modifieds. Be getting ready, Open Wheel Modifieds. And then Schaefer's Oil by Mike Brunner Jr., Red Clay drivers for qualifying. We have 22 of them, a full field on the dot to open the points campaign. Hudson O'Neal, the top of the second group. Dale McDowell, Jordan Rodeball, Cade Lowney, and Sam Seawright. They will all lock into the show, being in the top 5 of this Group B. Jordan Horton, Carl Tipton, Cameron Weaver, Jack Franklin, Cade Newby, Dakota Smith, Will Hicks, Matthew Porter, and Steve Smith all heading to heat race action later on in the night. Of course, our first heat race will be presented by Sunoco Race Fuel, fueling the Schaefer's Oil Spring and Summer National Series. I want to thank them, also our great friends over at Coltman Farms as well, as we will get ready. Open Wheel Modifieds. We need you in staging. Schaefer's Oil by Mike Brunner Jr. Red Clay drivers. You're needed in the staging area, all 22 of you as well.
go. Open wheel modifieds, hot lap qualifying. Out on the track, and the 18 machine, that'll be Brad Dyer. Followed by the 13 machine, that'll be David Clark, and the 12 machine, that'll be Doug Farmer. Group 1 of our open wheel modifieds. Red Clay 602 series, Red Clay 602 series. I need y'all at the back of staging for qualifying. Red Clay 602 series to the back of staging for qualifying. David Clark at the top of the board with a 15.396. Brad Dyer in that 18 machine goes second quick with a 16.125. We get ready with our second group out of our open wheel competitors. Coming down the track onto the speedway, that'll be the 2 machine. That'll be Jimmy Dalton. Followed by the 15 machine, that'll be Jeff Hamby. Then we got the 91 machine. Barley Stillwell. Jimmy Dalton, he'll jump to second quick in that 2 machine. Jeff Hamby, he'll go third quick in that 15. Checker flags in the air. Jimmy Dalton, he'll stay second quick. Looks like trouble for Jeff Hamby. He slides up the track a little bit. This will do it for Group 2 of your open wheel modifieds. David Clark still with the time to beat with a 15.396. Jimmy Dalton second. Jeff Hamby third. Brad Dyer fourth. Barley Stillwell rounds out your top 5. We're waiting on the 15 machine to exit the racetrack, so we can roll this final group out. All right, here we go. Got the 28C of Jeff Carterman, followed by last week's open wheel winner. That'll be the 56 machine of Colton Profit. And we got the 66 machine. That'll be Adam Wright. Colton Profit in that 56 machine, he'll jump up to second quick. Adam Wright takes over the second spot. Well, that'll do it for that group. Still David Clark in that 13 machine at the top of the board. Adam Wright second, Colton Profit third, Jimmy Dalton fourth. Jeff Hamby rounds out your top 5. So we got 2 more cars. And that will do it for our open wheel modifieds after these 2 cars, and we'll shift gears. Head right into 602 Red Clay Series qualifying. Our last 2 cars here. We got the 1 CAT of Cody Smith and the 30C. That'll be Zach Carterman. And green flag is out. Looks like trouble again for the 1 cat car of Cody Smith. He had trouble earlier out there in hot laps. Still must not have the problem fixed, so tough break for that driver. Cody Smith, he'll pull it in the infield. Tough break for that driver. is still trying to find the issue with the car. And that'll do it right here for your open wheel modified qualifying. Your pole center for tonight will be the 13 machine of David Clark with a 15.396. Adam Wright in that 66 machine, he'll go second quick. Colton Profit in the 56, he'll be third quick. Jimmy Dalton in the 2 machine, he'll time in fourth. And rounding out your top 5, that'll be the 15 machine of Jeff Hamby. As we get ready to roll our red clay 602 series out onto the speedway.
Schaefer's Oil by Mike Bruner Jr. Red Clay Series drivers. You need to make your way to the staging area. It is time for Knowles Racing Parts and Bodies qualifying 22 drivers, so everyone will lock into the show for the main event. Right at what we consider a full field. Those drivers are getting situated there in the staging area. Of course, Brandon Overton fastest there out of Group A. Hudson O'Neill fastest out of Group B, and he is the fastest overall. He will be the winner of your Hudson's 100. Hudson O'Neill with a new track record as well for Super Lake Models here at I-75. Going to roll these first couple of cars here for the Schaefer's Oil by Mike Bruner Jr. Red Clay Series out onto the speedway. Spencer Cranfield in the 9C. Camden Randolph and Cass Fowler in the 9 machine. Cass ought to be real quick in that 9 as he works down the back straightaway. White flag for Cranfield. He's got a 15.750. Randolph with a 15.712. Cass Fowler there with a 15.722 as he comes by to complete his first lap. Spencer Cranfield now back to the top of the board with a 15.505. Cass Fowler there in the 9 with that first lap being his best lap with a 15.696. So Spencer Cranfield, the driver out of Cleveland, Tennessee in the 9C, he goes to the top of the board so far early on here in Knowles Racing Parts and Bodies qualifying. Of course, driver out of Cleveland, Tennessee, usually a regular here at I-75 Raceway. Of course, when they run their 602s, of course, they run also underneath the red clay rule set. It's one of the several tracks that continue to grow to that list of the red clay weekly drivers and tracks, as we, of course, I-75 also down at North Georgia following our rules. Also Lawrence County Speedway, Livonia Speedway, just to name a few that are all part of the red clay family that follow the rules, and the, of course, American Racer tire rule to help save money for the drivers. But that open left front is the only tire that you will not see an American Racer on. All 3 other corners are mandatory. The Pro 2 or Pro 4. Spencer Cranfield there still, like I said, at the top of the board. Jim Gray, Bryson Hickman, Derek Franks in the 42 machine working over there in turn number 3 and 4. And Bryson Hickman with a 15.699. He goes to 3rd quick as it stands right now. Jim Gray going to be 5th quick. Derek Franks with a 16.963. He's going to be 6th quick. Everybody's still chasing Spencer Cranfield, but only for a moment. Bryson Hickman to the top of the board that time by with a 15.415 for Bryson Hickman. Of course, your winner for the finale here for the Red Clay Series last season. He picked up the win in the final event. Sean Sauce picking up, of course, the championship, the driver out of Seymour, Tennessee. Glad to see him back with us. Maybe he will try to defend that title. Hickman going to be one of his challengers possibly this year, as he declared for the championship earlier on this afternoon, and also going to take, of course, a shot at that championship and getting up some more wins with the Red Clay Series. Rolling out onto the speedway, it's going to be the 19 machine, a Tennessee native there in Kyle Courtney in the Team PPM entry. Behind him, it is going to be the 87Z of Zane Littleton, and the 5, the Factor Race Car entry for the Georgia driver, Jody Wilson. Of course, Wilson, one of our Rookie of the Year sponsors, along with Styles Heating and Air out of Greer, South Carolina. Those Factor race cars, they have been fast last season for Jody Wilson, and Wilson will put it 6 quick on lap 1 with a 15.872. Everybody, of course, still chasing Hickman. Kyle Courtney with a 15.503, puts him second quick as it stands. He's second quick. Cranfield, Cass Fowler. Wilson still 6th. Littleton there in 9th with a 16.731. Of course, want to give a shout out there to Andrew Littleton. I'm sure he's watching at home, recovering. Had an accident there at North Georgia Speedway last weekend. Want to wish him a speedy and well recovery. Andrew, hopefully we'll see you back with the Red Clay Series here in a couple of weeks, helping Z-Man out. Another driver rolling down the hill, going to be a threat in that number 70 entry, fresh off a 602 win last weekend. It's going to be Devin Cardwell, as he is now on the clock in the 70. Behind him, the defending and reigning champion in the 59 out of Seymour, Tennessee. It is going to be Sean Sykes out of Knoxville, Tennessee in the 16 machine, a multi-time series winner, and Dawson Lowe. He is now on the clock as well. Back now to the white flag there for Sean Sykes. Sean going to move up to 7th quick with a 15.741 that time by. Davin Cardwell going to move up to 4th quick with a 15.579. Still Hickman, Courtney, and Cranfield, your top 3. Davin Cardwell fastest out of this one, but here comes Dawson Lowe. He will go to 2nd quick that time by with a 15.490 for Dawson Lowe, the Knoxville, Tennessee native. Like I said, a multi-time winner last season with the Red Clay Series. Looking to, of course, put it into victory lane. Maybe Dawson Lowe, maybe he goes for a championship in 2026 with the Schaefer's Oil by Mike Bruner Jr. Red Clay Series. I want to thank, of course, the folks at PPM as well. I want to thank Extreme Towing and Recovery, CNS Auto Electric, just some of our contingency sponsors. Next set of 3 drivers rolling down the speedway. Evan Bell there in the 97 machine, Spencer Singleton, and Ryan Clay. Going to be your drivers here in this one, in this group, in this flight. Singleton going to be 13th quick. Ryan Clay in the 90 down into the infield. Evasive action goes the Georgia driver down into the infield. Back to the line there for Spencer Singleton, 13th as it stands. Evan Bale in the 97 entry. Going to be 10th quick with a 15.881. Want to thank Race Day Safety, $100 going to our fastest driver there in hot laps. Also, that is a gift certificate there. Knowles Racing Parts, of course, our sponsor, $100 going to our fastest overall time, presented by Knowles Racing Parts and Bodies LLC. Also, PPM Racing Products, our hard charger, Hydronite Extreme Towing for hard luck, and CNS Auto Electric. Want to thank also the folks there at American Racer and American Racer South Factor Race Cars, Virginia Driveline. Want to thank, of course, Tuxedo Glass and Mirror, sponsoring our caution flag, which Ryan Clay just brought out for the first time. You'll hear that name a lot throughout this season, especially with Tuxedo Glass and Mirror sponsoring our caution flag throughout the year. I want to thank also B&B Design, Smith Motors out of Anderson, South Carolina, Capital Custom Paint, and finally, Cruise of the Champions. If you're a member and you're running for the points, we're going to have a drawing and that is going to be for a cruise. Frankie Beard, who won with us at Sugar Creek Raceway, picked up a cruise. He'll be going on one coming up this following calendar year. We'll draw at the banquet for the next year, kind of give everybody a year to plan them out. That way we can get them planned out. Hopefully there won't be any race season when the weekend they pick out, but now it seems like race season is constantly all the way around the year. Spencer Singleton here and Evan Bell going to receive another lap there with a caution with Ryan Clay. So they're going to get one more crack at it as they see the white flag that time by. Still at the top of the board going to be Bryson Hickman, Dawson Lowe, Kyle Courtney, Spencer Cranfield, David Cardwell, Cass Fowler, Camden Randolph, Evan Bell now 8th, Joan Sauce 9th, and 10th will be Jody Wilson. Spencer Singleton will be 11th in that 30S, and unfortunately Ryan Clay still in the infield area. See if he's going to be able to make an attempt here for qualifying. He will be in the show with only 22 cars here. Everyone starting the main event. No B mains here this evening. Jonathan McKenzie in the 22 machine taking the green flag. Cooper Twiggs in the 100 going to be behind him. The North Carolina native. And coming to the line, it's going to be Shannon Helton in the H31. All three drivers now on the clock. Still should have a couple of more drivers over there for qualifying. Presented by Knowles Racing Parts and Bodies. Good to see Jake Knowles back on track. Glad to see him healthy after a health scare last year. Cooper Twiggs now in the 100 entry. Going to come by. Checkered flag in the air with a 15.613 for Cooper Twiggs as he works by in that 100 entry. The H31 of Helton with a 16.030. And Jonathan McKenzie going to be 13th quick as it stands right now with a 15.856. So everybody's still chasing the B01 of Bryson Hickman in the Hickman Manufacturing entry with a 15.415. Then it's Dawson Lowe, Kyle Courtney, Spencer Cranfield, and David Cardwell, your top 5. All drivers will lock in via qualifying. Here comes another heavy hitter down off of turn number 3 and 4 in the CVR race car entry. Andy Dill, trucking number 17. It's the superstar Hayden Cardwell. Cardwell, of course, a multi-time 602 winner, multi-time winner when it comes to 604s as well. He'll work into turn number 3 and 4 behind him. Another one of those drivers declaring for the championship today, John Snow, the driver out of Georgia in the 369. A 17 machine of Cardwell going 6 quick on lap number 1 with a 15.609. He'll be 6th quick on that first lap. He'll stay there on the second lap as well. He'll time in 6 quick, and here comes Snow to the line, 18th quick with a 16.177 for John Snow in the 369. For the driver out of Blairsville, Georgia, of course, Hayden Cardwell out of Knoxville, Tennessee. Cardwell has pretty much won anything when it comes to 604 racing, American All-Star Series action, Cruiser action. He has went to victory lane with both of those major series. Here comes our final couple of drivers rolling towards the green flag here to wrap up qualifying the 116. That is actually going to be Charles Devine. The North Carolina native will be behind the wheel of that entry. Also, the 45 of Billy Denby out on the speedway. Billy Denby last week racing with us over at Thunder Hill Raceway. Billy Denby going 17th quick on that first lap with a 16.102 there for Denby. Charles Devine in the 116 machine. Going to time it in 16th with a, make that 17th now. As a big pickup there by Billy Denby with a 15.842. So Charles Devine 17th now with a 16.040. And that is going to wrap up qualifying. Your Knowles Racing Parts and Bodies Pole Award winner going to be Bryson Hickman, followed by Dawson Lowe. He'll join him on the front row here tonight for the Schaefer's Oil by Mike Bruner Jr. Red Clay Series Kyle Courtney and Spencer Cranfield going to be in row number 2. Devin Cardwell and Hayden Cardwell going to make up row number 3. Row number 4 going to be Cooper Twiggs and Cass Fowler. And row number 5, Camden Randolph and Evan Bell will be your top 10 drivers. Sean Sykes will be 11th quick. Jody Wilson, Billy Denby will be 13th quick. 14th will go to Spencer Singleton, and 15th quick to Jonathan McKenzie. 16th quick going to be Shannon Hilton. 17th quick Charles Devine. Jim Gray will be 18th quick. 19th quick will be Derek Franks. 20th quick will be John Snow. 21st will be Zane Littleton and Ryan Clay. Not getting a timed lap will start shotgun on your field for the feature later on here tonight for the Schaefer's Oil by Mike Bruder Jr. Red Clay Series, and that's going to be a 25-lap feature coming at you. But, of course, coming up next, we'll have opening ceremonies and super late model heats. That first heat is going to be presented by Sunoco Race Fuels, fueling the Schaefer's Oil Spring National Tour.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, real fast before we get started with opening ceremonies here, we want to reach out to everyone, talk to Walter this week, talk to Mr. Ray Cook this week, Eugene, the track owner here at I-75. Last weekend on Friday night, one of our tracks close and near to us, North Georgia Speedway, was having a practice with a few races, and then on Saturday night they were scheduled to have a big SCDRA race. On Friday night, a guy that a lot of us know dear to our heart, he races all over. I think he's been to every track from here to Mexico. Andrew Littleton had an unfortunate accident when somehow his four-wheeler ended up hitting the wall. Andrew had a bunch of broken bones and had to have a arm surgery. With this being said, Andrew works for himself. He's a contractor. So Andrew had to have a lot of surgeries. He was needing some help with some medical bills. So we decided to do our 50-50 here for Andrew tonight. I know he's watching at home. His son Zane Littleton is running the 602 Red Clay Series tonight. So right now we're going to draw the 50-50 ticket out. And the other side of the 50-50 will not go to the track, will not go to the series, will not go to anyone else. It will go to the Andrew Littleton family. All right, if you guys can hear me, the 50-50 ticket winning number is 611-3788. Once again, 611-3788 is the winning ticket number for the 50-50. Like we said, the other half of it is going to go straight to the Andrew Littleton family for medical expenses. If you have that number, please come to the tower. One more time, 611-3788.
All right. All right, at this time, if you will stand, gentlemen, remove your cap as we get ready for opening ceremonies here at I-75 Raceway. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day, Lord. Thank you for your many blessings, Lord. Lord, I just ask you to have your shield of protection, Lord, over all the drivers, the crews, and the fans, Lord. Dear Heavenly Father, just get us all home safely, Lord. And let's not forget what this week's about, Lord, dear Heavenly Father, because we know Sundays are coming, Lord. And just thank you for everything you do for us, Lord. Just forgive us where we fail you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Please remain standing for the playing of the national anthem. I-75 Raceway. Are y'all ready for some super late model heat racing? Again, your 50-50 winning ticket number is 6113788. If you have the winning 50-50 ticket number, please come up to the score tire and you will collect your prize. Again, that's 6113788. All right, as we get ready for a little super late model heat racing action, I'm going to turn it back over to the boys with the Schaefer's Oil Southern National, Mr. Walter.
B feature number 1 getting ready to roll out onto the speedway. We'll take 5 drivers out of this one with 28 drivers. We'll be sending 6 drivers home here tonight. Of course, $5,053 the prize on the line here this evening. I want to thank also Quick Time Signs and Designs. Also want to thank the folks over there with, of course, Chris Bragg and Bragg's Designs there out of South Carolina, making up our checks for the weekend, along with B3 Print Shop for our 602 checks, and, of course, our super late model checks on the weekend. Our graphic design folks that help us out, also Miss Tara as well with Peep and Dragon Photography with those beautiful flyers. Also Ryan Delph with his hard work on the flyers on the super late model side. We're going to put them 2 by 2, and we'll introduce you now to the starting lineup from the back of the field to the front. Out of Lenore City, Tennessee, in the 00 machine, it's going to be Ruben Mayfield. In the T6 machine, out of Rossville, Georgia, it's going to be Todd Hernandez. Starting in 7th, out of Signal Mountain, Tennessee, in the number 91 Team PPM, Andy Dale Trucking entry, it's Heath Heidman. In that Savage Competition Racing Equipment out of Maryville, Tennessee, in the 1, it's going to be Jason Welsh. And in the 157, it is going to be Mike Moyler out of Winfield, Tennessee. David Crabtree starting 4th. Starting 3rd, Cameron Moyler. Starting your front row, Luke Morey and John Owen. We're going to bring them to the green flag. Green flag is out. Casual contact with Crabtree there. The 4401 car up on its side and back down. Todd Hernandez with a wild ride. You could see the undercarriage of that machine. It started with a little bit of a gaggle on the start with Crabtree and another car making contact, and then contact back through the field. The accordion effect, and Hernandez went up and luckily did not go over and come back down from 2 wheels back to 4 to set that rocket machine back on down as Hernandez thought he was about to leave for liftoff. Crabtree there in the 5 machine. Looking on the left side of that entry, don't see a whole lot of damage. Maybe some slight damage on the right side, but we'll have to take a peek at it as he's real slow down the back straightaway. Maybe just looking for his spot to fall in line, and that's exactly what the veteran there, David Crabtree, is going to be doing. And, of course, safety personnel and the wreckers all headed out to the T6 machine of Todd Hernandez. So the T6 machine. John Owen be there out of Cleveland, Tennessee. Luke Morey there in that Coltman Farms entry in the 49. Going to re-rack them and restack them. No laps complete in this one for this B feature. There will be no B mains for the Schaefer's Oil by Mike Bruner Jr. 602 Red Clay Series. So after these 2 heat races are wrapped up, we will be moving into features here tonight. Want to give a correction. Timing and scoring had told us earlier that, of course, Hudson O'Neill had broken the track record. Our crack stats team going to work on that one to make sure that it was definitely correct in Delph Communications. And Ryan let me know that that track record is still safe. Corey Hedgecock actually holds that record. And so, just a correction there. As like I said, we had to double check and make sure on that one. But driver that we're not seeing actually here tonight, I'm surprised we don't see him here at one of his best racetracks in the country there in Corey Hedgecock. Hopefully we'll see him somewhere down the road. Said always a fan favorite here at I-75 Raceway there for Corey Hedgecock. Haven't had a chance to see Corey much this year, or of course Matt Henderson as well. The driver there out of Loudon, Tennessee, that's not too far down the road. Hopefully we'll catch up with Matt somewhere throughout the 2026 season. John Owenby and Cameron Marler, Luke Morey, Mike Marler in the 157, a driver. If you had it on my bingo card, I didn't pick him at all to be in one of these B features here tonight. I want to thank, of course, like I said, the folks, FK Rod-Ins. I want to thank Sunoco American Racer. American Racer South. 2x2. They're going to rack them. They're going to stack them down into turn number 3 and 4 to bring them to life. Missing the T6 machine of Todd Hernandez. Unfortunately, looks like he's not going to make the call back out at all. So his night is going to be done, not eligible there for a series provisional on the evening. John Owenby down into turn number 3 and 4. He'll look to lead them down into the corner, but he is being pressured now by the 49 of Luke Morey. Morey all over the back of the 44 of John Owenby. Owenby on the top side, the 49 of Morey on the bottom. Almost sheet metal to sheet metal there. Give it to John Owenby as he pulls away. A little bit of separation down into the corner, but a bobble. Now give it to Luke Morey as he takes the top spot of the flag stand. He's going to lead lap number 2. Owenby now trying to set him back up as he is in the crosshairs and the tire tracks of the 49 down into 3 and 4. The 49 of Luke Morey starting to pull away as he works into turn number 1 and 2. The battle between the Marlers. Marler to Marler down in the corner. Give it to Young. Cameron Marler, he'll take it. Cameron Marler going to take, of course, that 3rd position away from Mike Marler, the former multi-time Super Late Model winner. Of course, you roll into town, you see that championship sign. That's the first thing you see when you get into Winfield, Tennessee, before you cross into Kentucky. The last town we normally see going to Lake Cumberland and up that direction. Jason Welshin there in that final transfer spot. Heath Hyman, David Crabtree on the outside looking in, along with Ruben Mayfield. Luke Morey now in the Coltman Farms Racing number 49. Bill Steenschak's Longhorn into the corner. He will lead now, give him about 5, make it 6 car lengths in the back straightaway. He continues to pull away. Marler had to get on the binders. That's going to bring Mike Marler back into the fray as the battle for 3rd between the Marlers is going on. Delk on the side of that entry. Also Can-Am on the 157 from Mike Marler. He'll work down the back straightaway. Ruben Mayfield going to get real slow. He'll dive into the infield and call it a night. Marler Auto Mart there on the 57 machine for Cameron Marler. Everybody trying to hold on in the top 5 to make it into the dance and into the show for $5,053 here tonight on night number 1 of the Easter weekend trio for the Schaefer's Oil Spring National Tour. Down into turn number 3 and 4. Luke Morey still with the race lead by 3. Make it 4 car lengths as they come back to the line. John Owen will be trying to throw off the line and reel him in. Cameron Moyler there as well. And that is going to be it at the line. It's the 49 of Luke Morey getting the win over John Owenby, Cameron Moyler, Mike Moyler, and Jason Welshin will all make it into the show. David Crabtree, Ruben Mayfield, Todd Hernandez, Heath Hyndman there in the 91, all not going to make the feature here tonight unless they get a provisional. Congratulations to Luke Morey, your winner there. 10 laps in the books. Got to have another 10. We'll re-rack them and stack them with another 9 cars. 5 more drivers looking to lock into the show here on night 1 at I-75 for the Spring National Tour. Presented, of course, by Schaefer's Oil and Specialized Lubricants. We'll introduce you now to the starting lineup from the back of the field to the front. Out of Powell, Tennessee, in the 9th starting position in the 3. Slated to start in that spot, it's going to be Steve Smith. Out of Max Meadows, Virginia, in the Longhorn chassis, the 19P of Matthew Porter. Starting 7th out of Cleveland, Tennessee, in the 15, it's going to be Will Hicks. In the 3D, starting 6th out of Powell, Tennessee, Dakota Smith. Kane Newby out of McNeville, Tennessee, starting 5th in the 118. Out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, it's going to be Jack Frank starting 4th. In 3rd, going to be Cameron Moore out of Crossville, Tennessee. Carl Tipton Helen out of Arizona originally, starting 2nd. And Jordan Horton out of Sneedville, Tennessee, on the front row in that J&J Construction number 27. 1 to go vision wheel there on the 22 machine there for Carl Tipton. Of course, the Crossville, Tennessee native Cameron Weaver in that 3rd starting spot. Jack Franklin, of course, he raced with us last weekend over at Thunder Hill for their grand reopening. So these drivers, some of them not making the call. Only 7 competitors out on the speedway. Matthew Porter will make the call. I don't see the 3 machine of Steve Smith out on the racetrack. See Will Hicks in the 15 machine. Green flag in the air. Working down the back straightaway, Carl Tipton going to shoot out of a cannon. He'll work into turn number 3 and 4 with a top spot. He'll take lap number 1 of the Vision Wheels, number 22 machine over Horton. Horton there in the 2nd position. And then it's going to be the 12 machine of Jack Franklin. He will ride in the 3rd spot. 4th will go to Weaver. The battle now is for the transfer spot. Smith has it in the 3D machine of Dakota Smith, but Will Hicks and Matthew Porter are giving chase. Hicks, the only driver really in this B feature that would be possibly eligible for a provisional, at least off of points. The other drivers would have to fall back, of course, if he gets in and races his way in. We'll move on to the next part of the format. We got the 12 machine of Franklin around to the top of 1 and 2. We'll see the caution flag out once again here in this 2nd B feature. Three laps complete. Jack Franklin going to tag the tail of the field there in the 12 machine. Said 5 drivers can race their way in, so he will try to go after Will Hicks. Now, of course, he was in the show, now outside looking in. Hicks in that final transfer spot in the dance. Green flag, single file restart. Horton going to bring them back down into turn 1. Loud pedal going to get matted to the floorboard, but here comes Carl Tipton back to the inside. Tipton looked for the slider, not going to prevail. He'll fall back to second and now into the clutches of the 116 machine of Weaver. Weaver riding in third. Dakota Smith in fourth. The battle for the transfer spot. Matthew Porter, the Virginia native, will head to Whiff Raceway in Virginia tomorrow night. He is in the show right now in the final transfer spot. Will Hicks hounding him along with Jack Franklin. Dakota Smith firmly in fourth. Halfway that time by. 5 down, 5 laps to go. And they'll work down into turn number 3 and 4 still with Jordan Horton, your race leader. And that J&J Construction 27 machine over Carl Tipton. Weaver riding in that third position, but he is hot on the heels and chasing down the 22 machine of Tipton as they work down the back straightaway into 3 and now off the corner of 4. It is Tipton, it is Weaver as they battle for position. 4th is Smith and 5th is Porter in that final transfer spot as we come now 2 laps to go. Popsicle Sticks 2 at the line, and Horton with a full almost straightaway advantage as he works now down the back straightaway. The battle for second still continuing to rage. Tipton and Weaver still going at it very closely, but Tipton now starting to pull away here as we see the white flag there for Horton as he comes by. Tipton, Weaver, Smith, and Hicks. Oh, Matthew Porter around in the corner. Porter. Caution is flashing around the speedway. We will not come back to the checkered flag with Porter going around. I believe that's going to set us back up for a shootout here with possibly only 1 lap left to go with Porter as he just had that slow loop over there in 3 and 4. No damage to the car. He will have at least a chance to have a mulligan to get back to the tail of the field for 1 lap dash towards the end to try to make the show. So Hicks is in. Jack Franklin and Porter on the outside looking in. Can they get in? The scramble to get into the show here tonight. Of course, 21st and 22nd will be provisionals. But, of course, you want to lock into the show. Race your way in. Gets to provisionals, you're up to a game of chance of who may have better points than you, who may have a better time than you. You want to put it all in your hands as a driver. Down into 1 and 2. Here comes Tipton. Tipton going to have to get on the brake pedal. Shot out of a cannon into 3 and 4. Jordan Horton, the Sneedville, Tennessee native, going to get it done. He'll win the second B feature in the J&J Construction 27 over Carl Tipton. Cameron Weaver, Dakota Smith, and Will Hicks will race his way in. Jack Franklin and Matthew Porter maybe on the outside looking in. We'll have to go over to timing and scoring here in just a moment. We will announce your 21st and 22nd starting spots. Features will be coming up next. Main events coming, and we need Thunder drivers to be getting ready. Thunder going to be up for the first main event, followed by our 40-lap feature for the Super Lake models, and then the 602 Schaefer's Oil by Mike Bruner Jr. Red Clay Series going to go for 25 laps. That'll be the third main on the night. Just want to give you some more information about this Hudson's 100 that we started off at Cherokee. This is, of